All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Benchtalk Pod, and today we've got a loaded show for you guys. We got college football playoff chaos, portal madness, NFL wildcard reactions, and at the end we're gonna be locking in some picks that you guys are gonna want to hear because we have a 100% pick rate. And first things first, just want to introduce my co-host Alex.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bench Talk podcast. Super excited to be here. Episode 1, the climb of the mountain. And super excited to get this started.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. So kind of just give you guys a little agenda here. We're going to start with the college football playoff reactions because that's, I feel like, a lot of the craziness in the news there. We're going to say, like, then go into the transfer portal and go into more detail there with all the crazy stuff with Lane Kiffin, everything like that. And then we're going to hit the NFL wildcards and we're going to finish it off with those locks. So this is your first time here, just know this is a no BS podcast. It's 100% real sports analytics, real opinions. We've got all of our analysis in front of us like we've never, no casual stuff here. And so, with that being said, I think we need to start where the controversy is, and that's college football. And I actually want to bring up something right now that I've been doing a little research on, going on the internet, seeing what's going on. And I think this is, important in terms of when we talk about the Indiana versus Miami game, but there's rumors circulating online allegedly that Indiana football is cheating, that Coach Cignetti is a fraud, and that he is, utilizing this app that all the college football teams use to get information on, game planning and things like that. And, as somebody who was at the game at the Peach Bowl, I was watching Indiana and Oregon. Indiana was perfect. And now if you come with that perspective and you look at that, you're like, well, Mendoza's only missed on 4 or 5 passes this year. So it's an interesting perspective. It's allegedly, the rumors, actually the Indiana defensive coordinator shot back at, there's a UM podcaster who kind of was like, oh, I don't know if Indiana's cheating, but Miami's running it right up the A gap. And he was like, we'll be there. And so, want to get your thoughts on that. Do you think, this Indiana success is slightly fraudulent?
Well, here's my thing with Indiana and with the fraud. I read into this a little bit more this morning and was reading some of the articles that are out there. And I think it just sounds like Oregon is just a bunch of sore losers. If you have to revert to cheating as the, because you got your ass kicked. Let's call a spade a spade. You went out there, threw a pick six on the first play. Shouldn't have even been the first play. Run the ball. There's just no way you can, and it's the same thing with Connor Stallions. Connor Stallions is the problem with all this because now everyone just wants to say that everybody's cheating. And we've referred to hacking. This is college football. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's so stupid.
And me, I'm a Canes guy, so all I'm gonna say is this: is I think the Canes are gonna win anyway. I think Miami's too big and too strong, and we can get into that later. But if Miami beats a cheating Indiana, I mean, I think this cements this is a dynasty, start of a dynasty.
No, but I think with Miami, for example, and we can talk. What we'll talk about now. We can talk about the national championship. I think as a Miami fan, you're already setting up a narrative to just be able to consolidate yourself when you lose. This is loser talk. This is not how winners handle. This is loser talk. What you're doing right now is you're talking like a loser.
Well, I'll say this. I think Miami's going to win regardless. Before I found out all of this. And if not, I mean, I was there in the Indiana. I mean, it was all Indiana at the Peach Bowl. It was about 73,000 Hoosiers and 2,000 Oregon fans. It was actually incredible. I went humbled. I was like Miami by 25, and now I'm Miami by 10. And so, as a Canes fan, they're too big and too strong, and we'll get into more of that later. Right now, I kind of want to go through the games that, we've already watched. So let's start with Indiana, Oregon, because we're on Indiana now. And so my takes from that game, we'll toss the cheating allegations to the side. We'll say Indiana looked about as perfect as a football team that you could look in that game. Absolutely ran over the line, which, I will say this. I thought Oregon had a decent line to begin with. I didn't think their team win the award for having a good O-line. I think the Joe Moore, whatever, that award, their line was good, and Indiana just murked them. And so it was, all Indiana all game. I mean, I don't know what happened to Dante Moore and what he ate the day before the game, and he just looked horrible. Like he fumbled the ball like twice. He threw that pick on the first play. I mean, this is the guy who's going to go second overall or third overall. I think that tanked his draft stock. If I'm an NFL GM, I'm not even looking at him now after watching that game. I mean, big pressure game and you just kaputs.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just you heard all week before the game, Dante Moore, Dante Moore, Dante Moore. I think Dan Lanning just needed to get the run game going. I thought Indiana, they've been good at it all year, just stopping the run and just really, you know, focusing and just scheming teams up each week, just mainly stop the run. And I think if Oregon gets the ball kind of rolling, they're even just 3 or 4 yards on first down. I think they played behind the chains a bunch and just more just got out of, he didn't feel comfortable. He kind of got out of I'm assuming what their scheme was. It looks like they were trying to get quick outs and get kind of their playmakers out in space. And I think Signetti is underpaid, even though he just got that big raise. I think he's still probably one of the most underpaid coaches in the country. I mean, they dominated the game from, you know, the start to the beginning. Mendoza looked great. Mendoza had some big time throws.
Hey, Mendoza's been perfect this whole football play. He looks like a number one pick. I mean, he's just been perfect. Like hasn't missed a single throw. He's been incredible.
Yeah, I think C-Rat played really well. He had that early touchdown, and then I think he got that second one towards the third quarter. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, it. You heard all week just talking about it, how it's going to be the game of the week, and I think Mendoza just outshined everybody on the field. I mean, I think he's clearly won. But yeah, it was a shocker.
Can I start a narrative here? And I think that for me, I think Oregon is the most fraudulent program that has existed ever. I mean, when are they going to win a national championship? Spend all this money. They have all these 5 stars. They go like 10-1, 9-2, 11-0 every year, or 10-2, whatever, right? Every year. And they make the playoffs every year. And they just crap the bed every year. Like every single year. Like against OSU, they got blown out. Like game was over to the first quarter. Like terrible. And I mean, does that have to do with the buys and the things of that nature? I don't know, but I want to start a narrative, and I think Oregon is fraud, and there's nothing, and all evidence backs it. Like
Yeah, it's bad. It's I think Oregon's still really good. I think Oregon would, obviously they made it to semifinals. But I don't know. I think just defensively couldn't get pressure on Mendoza all night. I think he might have took like 3 or 4 sacks, or if and that even that feels like a lot to say. But I don't know. I think Lanning's got to he's got to have a big transfer portal. They've got to be able to get the D line where it needs to. The D line played really good in the regular season. Playoffs is just
yeah,
was rough
and I
without it.
and I think Oregon is. And I love Dan Lanning. I think he's like an absolute stud as a coach, like standout guy, like his story, everything, like great. But I feel like Oregon's they're kind of like cursed as a program. Like they
I mean,
just
it
can't
doesn't
get it
help
done.
when you have 3 of your running backs out.
Yeah. And so,
Tough go at it.
I mean, tough for Oregon. Indiana steamrolled them. I think that's the story of that game. It's just Indiana was too good, too big, too strong, too old. you know.
Hoosier. Yeah,
Yeah, I was. That's
they
all
balled.
night was Hoosier all night long, all night, and it was Hoosier town population. Everybody in the stadium knew. I mean, it was incredible. And now moving on to the Ole Miss Miami game. The better game of the two.
I have a lot to say about this game.
I bet you do.
I
I'll
do.
start with myself here. I think this was an absolute demolition job. Should have been, let me say, should have been an absolute stomping from Miami. And this is where, when you think about the national championship and you think about Miami's success, you got to ask questions. I mean, Carson Beck played great, managed the game. I mean, he's 27 years old and getting paid $10 million a year. I mean, that's what I expect him to do. But, did great. Got to give the flowers there. Glad he's playing good. He plays for my team. Second thing I want to know is the penalties. When I say this would be a demolition job, there's 3 or 4 offensive drives killed by penalties that Miami is just rolling down Ole Miss. You have the defensive penalties that, gave Ole Miss third down situations, PIs, roughing the passer, stupid mental mistakes that are keeping Ole Miss in this game. And then Then you have the 4 dropped interceptions that Chambliss should have threw. And I'll say I'm a Chambliss fan. I think he played a great game, but if Miami catches 2 of those, we're looking at Chambliss a little different right now, and we're saying, "Ooh, he didn't play that good of a game." And so, I think this was a demolition job all over. Should have been an absolute smoking. Like the fact that they had to go to the last round says more about Miami, or the last drive says more about Miami than it does about Ole Miss. I think, Miami needs to be looking at this game. And if Miami can not play against Miami, I think this Indiana, they're the underdog, but I think Miami is going to show a lot of people and prove a lot of people wrong as long as they don't beat themselves and they show up to play. And on the Ole Miss side, I also want to call out, I think the Lacey injury killed a lot of their offense. I think that was my worry going to the game is, one thing about Miami, and this is my worry a little about Indiana, is Miami struggles against good running backs, good running games. And they have a really good O line or really good D line, but you always got these guys, man. They come in like a Lacey and they slash us every single time. So Kyron Lacey going out that was, I think, a game changer after the 80-yard touchdown. And it was funny. I was messing with our buddy who's an Ole Miss fan, and I was like, "Oh, the offside's the farthest you guys have even got all game." And then the next play, they bust an 80-yard run. So that was really nice getting that right back in my face. But I shut up pretty quickly there.
Here's the thing about Miami, and jump in at any time, but you can't even say that Miami looked great. I don't think either team looked great.
Oh, no, that was the worst game they've played in the playoffs.
I think, one, Carson Beck is so on or off that you have him on a drive where, first off, Miami should have ran the ball 160 times. They should have never even – Carson Beck should have had 0 passing yards.
They got away from that in the second half, and they should have went right back to it.
Like, Carson Beck made some throws when he needed to. Carson Beck also made some throws that should have been intercepted, and they were horrible passes. I know it was his first time rushing in for a touchdown since, I think, week 4, and that won the game, and now everyone's high on Carson Beck. Listen, if I have Carson Beck stock, I'm thinking about selling it right now. Because here's the thing. You've got a 27-year-old who's in his 3rd national championship, or maybe 4th. I don't know. He's been in college for 10 years. He's going up against one of the best teams that we've seen in a while, and you're giving Cignetti a full week to scout Miami. No distractions. Yeah, I know we were talking, and you had mentioned, Indiana's on this high, and them winning by so much is going to hurt them. I don't know. You got Miami in Miami. That's a big factor. I don't want to downplay the 305, but I don't know. I think if Tony can be Tony and just be great, then you've got a chance. I think it all comes down to how Indiana's going to guard Tony.
I mean, I'm really interested and I think Mendoza's mobile, and watching him play, and I think he's a mobile quarterback. I think the difference between why I said Ole Miss is the trap game, and for me, I think this is a better matchup for Miami. It's because Ole Miss plays that quick, high tempo game where the edge, they get the ball out so quick, 3 seconds every time. It's you're Bane, and you can't get there, right? You can't. Our edges could not get to Chambliss at all game, and so I think that's going to be an interesting story. It's really, this game is the battle of the trenches. It's like the real battle of the trenches. Indiana's got some big boys, some older guys, 4 or 5 years in the portal. Miami's got, a lot of young guys, a couple true freshmen starting on defense, and it's fun, and against Ole Miss, they lined up a true freshman 1-on-1, 3rd down. And Ole Miss said, "All right, we're going to pick on him," and the kid made a play. I mean, that's what it's about. And so, I'm excited to watch this matchup.
Ole Miss's defense, everyone knows that Ole Miss's defense is not great.
No,
this is not. You're not playing Ole Miss. You're playing Indiana.
No,
Indiana doesn't beat themselves.
I hear you.
How many false starts in a row would you run? You'd break a 10-yard drive off and then be a false start or a hold. Your left side of your offensive line couldn't block me if I was running through the gap. Couldn't.
I think they're good with they just have mental errors. Inez is a good player. He just has, he had a couple of mental errors that game, and he came out after the game and he was like, he said, "Yeah, I saw Cam Ward watching. I have to, make sure that I perform." And so it's funny, it's not something, you'd normally
Would you say
see.
he performed?
Not that game. He played horrible, but it's not an every game thing where he's going to grab 3 false starts in a row or whatever it was, and just I couldn't believe it with my eyes. But that's what I'm saying. This Ole Miss game should have been demolition. We had the ball for 55 minutes, something like that, and so we outgained them by least 150, 200 yards. My memory is correct. And so, it should have been all Miami. Missed the kick, dropped like 4 picks that led to 9 points. Like, this shouldn't have been a contest. But again, that's what worries about Indiana. You're playing a really disciplined team versus a not so disciplined team. But that being said, I don't think Indiana has seen size and speed like Miami yet. So I'm really interested to see how they deal
What
with
about
that.
Ohio State?
Look at what Miami did to Ohio State. We bullied their line. Bullied. All game, Ohio State got bullied. Lost the battle in the trenches by a bully, bully, bully,
I mean,
bully.
I don't
I
think
mean,
Miami's played a
Julian
quarterback
Sang,
like
how many
Mendoza.
times did Julian Sang get sacked? I mean, bully, bully, bully. I mean, and I think that OSU team is actually, they're really young this year. And so, I mean, I think they're going to be good in the future, but this was not an OSU year. You're thinking of OSU of the past, couple years where they're legit. I think this is a little bit of a younger team. They needed this loss. They'll come back and be a little better next year. But this is not the same OSU, and that's why I think, even more so, OSU put up a good fight against Indiana in the Big Ten championship. So let's see what Miami can do.
I don't know. I don't know how this game's gonna go. I think either Indiana's gonna win it big, or I think it's gonna be last second drive when somebody can win it.
I mean, yeah. So we'll talk
I
more
think it's
about that when we
close.
get to the locks, though. We'll talk more about all that when we get to the locks. Let's go to the portal now. I think I really want to talk about this because I mean the state of the portal is the portal has turned college football into the NFL free agency. You got players leaving before
100%.
bowl games. You got coaches recruiting rosters from the portal instead of high school recruits. You got the whole strategy where we're going to grab, this many guys at the portal and we want to grab a couple good guys out of high school. The JUCO route, those D2 guys, like it's the new wave. These power programs getting richer, and dropping all this money on NIL. It's just when is it gonna change? And I mean, I don't blame the players at all. I mean, I wish I was athletic and could go play football again because I would be transferring every year to the highest bidder. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I would be. I don't care if it was Fresno State or Alabama. I would be playing anywhere. And so, I don't know what they need to do to change it. I mean, I think one possibility is cutting the buys. Like they got to say. I mean, they've been given all those weeks to the NFL, but they have to say, hey, we're gonna finish by second week of January. That's the not even or first week of January. Sorry, like we should not still be playing college football now. We need to get those 2 weeks in December. That we're giving as buys. We need to play those weeks. Everybody needs to play. And that's
I
gonna
think
be
the problem
something
with
where
it is that they got to figure out how to work around when the portal opens. I know it's based off like the academic year, so like when colleges are out for Christmas break, like that's when the portal opens, just with like enrollment. But I think that's the main issue is just the timing of it, the timing of everything. I think I agree that players should get paid. I think eventually we're gonna get to a point where there's kind of how the NFL is, like a salary cap per team. But I don't know how you're gonna be able to implement that.
and it's interesting. I almost look at college football now, like, and that's why I don't understand. If I'm the NFL, I'm looking at college football like this is like a minor league for baseball. You think about it, it's a minor leagues, right? And so I don't know. If I'm the NFL, I'm thinking, how can I help college playoffs, right? Like maybe how can I help them get the season done? Because you need players in the best positions, to develop, right? Like I don't know. I mean, that's something to think about
Yeah,
as well. But
I think.
I mean,
For example, like Dante Moore, if I was reading up, if he doesn't go in the first round, he'll make more money staying in college than going to the NFL in the second round.
yep.
Like
It's the I mean, the money in
it's
college football is insane now.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
it's wild. One of the big transfers I want to talk about though, Sam Levitt to LSU.
I had that, and I was gonna get into
Sam
that. And
Levitt to
Sam Levitt
LSU.
had a visit in Miami, and I said, man, Levitt in Miami would have been good. I really like him. I think the kid is real good, and so that's a big pull for Lane Kiffin, the portal god. That's
LSU's kind of scary.
after all the crap that Lane Kiffin is getting, he's getting all the players he wants for the most part. I mean, and he has a bad rep, but then when he goes and pulls off an 11-1 season, everyone's gonna forget that he was doing yoga classes with sorority girls. So
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
that's the reality situation.
listen, he goes and gets Sam Levitt, and he goes and gets Ty Benefield. Ty Benefield, he's from Boise State. That safety is a huge pickup. I don't know if you've watched Ty play at all this year. That was a big pickup. Lane is building something down in Baton Rouge, and it's going to be something. It'll be exciting to see if Lane can handle the pressure. I know next year they go to Vaught Stadium in Ole Miss, and he's going to have to play against his former coordinators. And it's going to be the old Lane defensive staff versus the Lane whole entire coaching staff they took with him. That's a game way too early. Go ahead and circle that one. Tell your wife, tell everybody, hey, I don't want to make any plans. That game's going to be rocking. I'm sure it'll be a night game. Sam Levitt under the lights, back in Ole Miss. That might be my way too early game of the year.
And I mean, game day is going to be all over that. I mean, that's going to be all over that. The narrative's going to be all over that. I mean, I agree. I think that's a very good pick for game of the year off rip.
Yeah. I think also talking about teams with big transfers, Florida State, we need to talk about them.
Couple guys today, couple of guys
some big names that are out, and I think Norvell's got to go. I think it's time. You clean house. He had 1 year with Jordan Travis and Keon. I would have loved to get, the USF head coach, or, even, I mean, there were so many names. And I saw that Franklin was looking at FSU. FSU just wouldn't give the money. I think for a guy that can recruit like Franklin, you just got to pay him. You got to find a coach who can just stabilize the program. I think Mike Norvell I think it's going to be another season of just 4-8 or 4 whatever, and then we're going to be right back where we were.
I agree. FSU, and I do enjoy the downfall of them a little bit, but it is sad to see, a program that was hot. But I will say, as an ACC guy, and I as someone who is, big on the underratedness of the ACC, and I think it's a tougher conference than people have to give. I do want to see FSU and Clemson, a couple of those teams get good again, because it's for some reason, it's either Miami's good or FSU's good. No one's good at the same time. We need everyone to be good at the same time so we can start rocking up into the, as an ACC conference and do that.
Well, I'll say next year I wouldn't look.
To see some change.
I wouldn't look for FSU. Mandrell Desir, he's an edge. We also lost our other edge. Both, I think, are ranked top 15 in the portal and then haven't committed, but it's going to be rough. And then
it's going to be rough.
And then you got Dylan Raiola going to Oregon. I think that's not a great move.
So I got here are the transfers, that have happened that I want to talk about that I think are going to be big. I got Raiola to Oregon. I think that's the same thing as the Bo Nix, the Dante Moore. Raiola's just going to
I think
this is why I feel it's just copy and paste the same thing every year, and when Oregon gets blown out in the playoffs next year, I'm going to look at this and be like, oh, well, it's the same thing that's happened,
I mean, what did you do in Nebraska this year? I mean,
wasn't he hurt this year? I'm not familiar.
I mean, exactly it's just like, I don't know. Dylan Raiola was mad he didn't go to Texas Tech, ended up in Oregon. I think I agree with you. I think it's just copy and paste. I want
to highlight Drew Mestamaker, baller out of North Texas. It's going to the Big 12. I mean, I think that's an interesting one where, it's weird enough. I feel like he's one of those guys that like he'll get drafted late in the NFL and like he'll end up being a good little player. He's just got a lot of arm talent. This guy's a great quarterback. That's why I wanted to highlight it, because I think that's a sneaky, really good transfer. I think that's a good one. I want to highlight this one. I think is a big one. Arch and them boys got a big receiver. He's got a new star to throw to. Cam Coleman from Auburn.
Cam Coleman's a huge pickup.
Arch, Texas, they put it together at the back end of the year. They looked really good. Cam Coleman is nasty. And he's going to now have Arch to throw to. He's going to be on a better team than Auburn. And so that's a highlight. DJ Lagway, he's not going to Baylor. I mean, he's at Baylor, but he's now taking more visits. So we got to stay updated on DJ Lagway. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened to DJ Lagway. He was the next coming of freaking Cam Newton, and then all of a sudden he just fell off a little bit. So
I think DJ first off, I think Florida, just the University of Florida's team right now and just where they're at, I think Billy Napier was never the answer. I think they gave Billy Napier too much time, in all honesty. I think he should have been gone, but DJ Lagway is so interesting. I think DJ Lagway's got such good arm talent, just really raw arm talent. I don't know. I don't know of a team to where I think that he fits. I don't think it's Baylor. I think Baylor's not the option. I I almost think that he tries to get his way, and I don't know what you think about this, but maybe he goes, West Coast goes to Arizona State.
See that? I mean, honestly, DJ Lightweight said I have like double question marks on him. Like I have no idea what he's gonna do. Baylor, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird to me that he's committed to Baylor. I don't know what's going on the back end and what he's got working, but that's definitely a situation we got to take a look at. I wanted to highlight Michigan's running back. I think was it Justice Haynes? Is that his name? If I remember correctly, he's in the portal and he was the Big Ten rushing leader. I mean, that's going to be an interesting one to see where he goes there.
Yeah, I think Michigan's got to get Bryce Underwood some help. I think they got to just get back. And first off, they got to find a coach. That was
Yeah,
probably one of I'd say probably top 5 biggest stories this year with Sharon Moore and that fiasco. But I think Michigan's just got to they've got to get some weapons behind Bryce. Bryce has got to have a big offseason and kind of develop more. I think they got to let him. They did a little bit more towards the back end once Sharon was kind of gone, but I think you got to let him just play. You got to let him, throw the ball down the field, let him get out in space and use his legs a little bit. He looks a lot better when he's kind of a little bit more mobile and kind of creating. I think Sharon kind of wanted to be a pocket passer too much and but you just got, I mean, you've got the biggest recruit of last year.
Sharon was worried about other things. He wasn't worried about Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. Yeah. The only other big name that I want to see where he ends up is Jordan Seaton, 5-star
Yeah,
tackle in Colorado. I could see him going to like Ohio State or something, going to a really big school, or an Alabama, or I don't know about Georgia. I think Georgia's got a pretty set line, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes.
and really quickly to hop back to the Justice Haynes, he actually was the leading rusher in yards per game, not the Big Ten leading rusher. I had to correct myself because I was like, wait a minute, I think I'm wrong there. And just in the Big Ten, like he had the most yards per game until he got hurt. And so I also want to highlight one more thing because I think this is a sneaky, really good transfer. Is Deuce Knight went to Ole Miss? I'm pretty sure. I think Deuce Knight left Auburn.
Yeah,
I think he went to Ole Miss. And then they got Byron Brown from USF. And now Byron Brown is a really good quarterback. So I'm really interested to see how that goes. I really liked him, watching USF play a couple times. Like I think he's mobile. I think he's just a dog. Like he's just, he's got that dog in him. So really excited for that one as well. And I mean, as of now, I think those are all the big portal transfers. And I think that sums us up for college football for now. I think it's time for us to move to Wild Card Weekend.
Go to Wild Card Weekend
now. Yeah, Wild Card Weekend.
What a
weekend. Gave us everything. We had blowout, had some surprises, and a couple of teams that clearly belonged, but weren't gonna beat your big boys. I mean, I think there's a couple key themes. I think there's a couple coaching mismatches, a couple of QB duels. Where you look at the Panther. That I think you have a couple of things where you had teams that are peaking at the right time that maybe had question marks and now they're starting to hit their feet and start to hit the ground running. But I think really what this tells me is, at the end of the day, January football is always going to expose, your weaknesses. It's always going to expose frauds. I mean, let's start with that Packers-Bears game. I mean, that's the one that, I just can't believe what happened. And I think it's my big one where you look at the coaching mismatch. I mean, LaFleur is a great coach, and I think I would take him as a Dolphins fan. I would take LaFleur in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'd take him as a Titans fan.
That being said, Ben Johnson's a monster, dude. I mean, Ben Johnson is one of those guys. Like he's just one of those guys that just has that football mind that, those like. And it's interesting that he took that play. I mean, he's a psycho. He took that play. Cliff Kingsbury from the Washington Commanders ran that play against the Bears, and then Ben Johnson took that and he just unleashed it on the Packers. And that last play where Caleb Williams hitched it through the touchdown. I mean, this guy is a psychopath. And I mean, I have a couple buddies who are Lions fans and they're just in an incredible amount of pain watching Ben Johnson just destroy.
I think this is the most interesting game of the weekend. I think first off, that with the Packers, I don't know I don't really know what changed from the first half to the second half. I think the first half, Jordan Love looked great. I mean, I think he threw like 5 touchdowns. I think the Bears just won't die. They don't die. They're a team that I feel like every time I turn them on and watch the game, they're down, 2-3 touchdowns, and then by the end of it, they end up winning. I think Ben Johnson suits kind of Caleb Williams a lot. I think they both have kind of that underdog, like, we're just gonna, fight you till the end. And I think the underlying hero of the whole entire game was Swift. I think Swift made that big catch late to and got up the field. DJ Moore had the probably one of the worst drops of the weekend. He was wide open and dropped it. I'm not gonna call it the worst because I know who the worst drop was of the weekend, but the Bears are scary, man. I think every time I watch them play, I think that they can either lose by 50 or they can, win. Like I think the Bears' definition of is they can beat anybody or they can lose anybody. There's
Yeah,
no
and I mean,
doubt about it.
I think the Bears are kinda scary, which is, when's the last time you said the Bears look scary? I mean, back in the days, Jay Cutler, but they were never really like, they were like a solid little
I mean,
team
Caleb Williams
sometimes, and
has
then
the most wins against the Packers since I
I
think
mean,
it's like
Caleb
2010.
Caleb Williams this year, I feel like has really justified a lot of the hate that you know people were. Or he's justified his number one draft pick. He's got a lot of hate last year, and then this year's come out and said, "Yeah, this is what happens. When I don't have freaking Eberflus coaching me, and I have a real offensive guy, and I think it took him a couple weeks to pick up the playbook and get moving, but I think they're rolling, and that's why I think I mentioned teams picking up steam at the right time. I think the Bears are really picking up steam and beat a couple of good teams in the last few weeks. So I think it's really interesting one to watch.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for next week. I think them against the Rams. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But I want to do a little blind comparison for you. All right,
Okay,
little
let's hear
blind
it.
comparison. Two quarterbacks. All right, player A, 17 games played, 72% completion, 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Player B, 17 games played, 58 percentage completion, 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. You're taking player A or player B.
I don't like turnovers. I'll probably take player B.
So player B is Caleb Williams. Player A was Drake May, NFL potential MVP. Just saying, just a stat to throw out there.
No, I
They're
mean
both,
that's
both in
I
sophomore year.
I think Caleb Williams had a fantastic year, and the Bears have went under the radar a ton this year. I think they've just been kind of quietly picking up games. I mean that NFC North is just a dogfight division every year anyway. Packers, Lions, Bears. The Vikings aren't slouches either. This year was a down year, so it's just that division is just. Oof. I mean, yeah, but that game was I couldn't believe it. That comeback was incredible. I was at halftime texting like, "No way! This is why you don't bet on Caleb Williams." Just like egging it on, and then I mean, what a comeback! I mean, that was incredible to watch. Was about 10 beers deep, just losing
Yeah,
my
I think
mind watching that.
I think Packers have to get a receiver, right? Again, like I think
I
Golden
don't
didn't turn
know. I
out to
don't know
be
if they
what
need
they
a
thought he'd
receiver.
be.
I don't even know what they need because honestly, like I don't even know what they need. Packers are
Where
just
did
the
Josh
weirdest
Jacobs
team.
go?
I don't know what's going on with the Packers. Packers are the weirdest team right now where they have so much talent and they have their quarterback. Jordan Love is a good quarterback, and sometimes I feel like he's kind of passive a little bit. Like they just don't get aggressive. But I don't know if it's a LaFleur thing. I don't know. I don't know what the Packers need. It's
I mean, I
just
know I know Kraft was a big loss, but here's my question to
yeah.
you. Here's my big question to you. Does Malik Willis win them that game? Does Malik
Bro,
Willis in the second half use his feet, pick up a first down, kill some clock? Does Malik Will I mean, the question has to be asked, does
can
Malik Willis
I will
win
say
them
this
that
though.
game?
I will say this. I think Jordan Love is an amazing quarterback. Like I think he's great, but what he's shown me, I don't think he's winning a Super Bowl. Like he's not that guy that's gonna like he's not that he's a tier below your Mahomes, your Allen, your Burrow, your people who I think are good enough. You Stafford, Herbert May. I just don't think he's in that category with them. I think he's slight one below. See, and I think off of raw talent though, this guy is incredible. Like sometimes I watch Jordan Love play and I'm like, wow, this is like second coming of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this guy's a god. And sometimes I watch Jordan Love play and I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I don't know. I think it is interesting, and I don't think that game is on Jordan Love, but like
I think a
I don't
lot of
know.
it's
It's
on
some
on the floor. Like you can't use a defensive timeout. Like especially when you're getting close to the 2 minutes. I think when the Bears had the ball and when they were driving to score, like you can't use timeout on defense. You're close to 2 minute warning. You know you're about to get the ball. Like I think he just coaches so differently. Like when he knows he has a lead versus like in the first half when it was just like like, hey, we got to go and like it's 0-0 basically. And like he coaches
yeah.
so differently. And I don't
I mean,
know. how you
LaFleur's a
coach
good
somebody to
coach
win.
too. That's I just don't. That's why I'm like I don't know what's going on with the Packers. Like I have no idea what their problem is. Like it's just they just
Yeah.
aren't getting it done.
Yeah.
Like everything, they have everything in place that you think a good team should have in place. They have a good running back, good quarterback. They have good receivers to throw the ball to. Like they don't have a number one guy, but Watson, Daubs,
I mean, I think the number one guy
Draft's a
is
good
Jaden
option.
Reed. I
Jaden
mean,
Reed,
yeah.
Matthew Gold, like they have a bunch of talented players, in their defense. Before Micah Parsons got hurt, yeah, Micah Parsons.
Oh, Michael
You
Parsons hurt
got,
too.
I mean, that was a big loss for them. But I mean, you
Trayvon
got
Diggs played
guys.
one snap. That was one of the weirdest pickups. He played one snap the whole entire game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
I
know
don't know.
that game
Yeah, I agree.
though. That game was Bears amazing. I think the next NFC game we'll go to be Rams Panthers. What a game! I mean, who thought? I mean, the Panthers put up a fight. I mean, I like the Rams as Super Bowl winners this year. Like I could really see them making it and getting there. Like I'm kind of a Stafford Glazer. Like this guy, I think I just think he's like amazing. Like ever since he came out of college, I mean, he's just like talented, arm talent. He plays for McVay. I'm kind of a McVay Glazer. Like I think this guy is like one of those offensive minds. Like your Ben Johnsons, your I would put McDaniel up there because I think McDaniel's going to surprise a lot
We
of
could talk
people
about
next year.
McDaniel.
Yeah, that's a later conversation, but
Yeah. I
you know,
think
yeah, I think he's just one of those guys. So that's why I mean that Rams team, like I could never see him losing. But man, shout out Bryce Young. Whatever Rod Wave said to him, that has changed his career, and now he is an incredible player. Like I don't know, this is what you spend your first pick on, and I think a lot of Panthers fans have to be happy what they're seeing with Bryce Young.
I agree. I think Bryce Young. I think the Panthers have found like their guy, but I don't think Bryce Young is like a Super Bowl winner. But
I
I think
agree.
that he's a
Same.
starting quarterback. I think he's earned his keep. I don't have much in this game. Besides Puka's a monster,
Yeah, Puka. I mean,
and
that's
I think
my
I
guy.
think Jared Verse is a monster. I think
Yeah.
him and Braden Fisk. They're both that defensive line scary. I think we'll learn more about the Rams this week against the Bears, and vice versa. I think we'll learn more about the Bears, but yeah, I don't have much for this game.
Yeah. 49ers Eagles. I mean, this game was just one of those where it was just, kind of a dogfight. I feel like, sometimes when I watch the Eagles play, I'm just like, what happened? Like, and a lot of people are blaming the OC, but I'm like, with all that talent out there, don't you think you could just get it done?
No,
Like,
I think it's Petula's fault.
I
I think
mean,
he's a horrible OC.
everyone's saying they're like all my friends that are Eagles fans are saying that they're running like a JV offense with
Yeah,
Rolls Royces at their disposal, and I mean, I'm just like I don't know what happened. Like they shouldn't be this bad, like they should really have won that game. Like I don't know,
I mean,
I don't even
it
know.
just so much happened. AJ Brown had the worst drop of the weekend.
Yeah,
AJ Brown, let me preface that you should still be a Titan. Let's just call it out as. I think Petula just
he'll come back now.
it felt like Petula just called the same plays over and over and over and over again. I think it didn't look like he was trying anything new. Brock Purdy, the 49ers are another team, kind of like the Bears. They just don't die. I think
Yeah,
Brock Purdy has got
well, that's
that
the
team
Shanahan
rocking.
way.
It is, and it'll be. I think next week might be a rough one without Kittle, and I don't know if Pearsall's going to play. I know he was out this week, but I don't know. I think
I don't think the Kittle injury kills them that much. Like I think Kittle is like in himself is an incredible player, but I think Jake Tongues is like actually probably one of the best backup tight ends in the league. Like the guy is
yeah.
very serviceable. And with McCaffrey, with Purdy back, like I think they'll be okay. Like
Yeah,
good.
but
I
they're
don't
going
think
up
they.
against that Seahawks defense next week.
Which yes, we'll get into. Which I think it's gonna be next week. We have a lot of interesting matchups that I think we got to get into. But finishing off really quick now with the AFC wild card. Let's start with the boring game first. Chargers Patriots. I mean, that's a nothing game. We could talk about that. Was just an absolute garbage
I think
game.
yeah, it was boring until the fourth quarter when the Patriots decided, hey, we're going to win this game. And
I don't know.
then
I have my thoughts on the Patriots. I'm gonna save them for later, but that
I
was the
think
most dog water game I've watched. I was falling asleep, just falling asleep watching
yeah,
that
it
game.
was a rough watch.
Poor Justin Herbert and his lack of offensive line. You might as well put 5 traffic cones out there and have
Yeah,
him play.
it felt like
Poor guy.
it felt like the offensive line was just trying to get Justin Herbert killed the whole entire night. That's what it
Yeah.
felt like.
I mean, and I'm not a football guru by any means, but I don't know. So, like I would just all of them got to go, and the offensive line coach. I mean, you can't be teaching them right if that's
Yeah, he's
what's
a.
going on.
I think Harbaugh's got
They
to fire his whole staff. I think
they
they've got to
gotta I don't
get.
know. They gotta figure something out because
Yeah,
that's you can't let Herbert is. I think that's what I throw Herbert in a leader category. I think he took a massive step this year because what he's doing with that line is incredible. Like I mean, it
yeah,
is
he's Superman.
incredible.
He's the
I
legit
mean,
Superman.
he has had an incredible year. I
Shout out
think,
Madison Beer.
yeah. So I mean, that probably Madison Beer leveled him up. I mean,
Yeah,
that's and fair enough, Justin
yeah.
Herbert,
Justin Herbert's a
and so
monster. I think they've got to figure out their running backs. I think and before that, obviously the offensive line. Like I was watching the game, and you know how like when they do player intros and they tell like they show like what rank
yeah,
they are. I
the
think they were
the
all
ratings
they were horrible.
they're all like dead
And
last. Yeah, all of them. They're all horrible.
yeah, and I think I don't know. I think Herbert has the weapons. I think he just it's the line. Like it's the defense is okay. I think obviously you've got you know Derwin James in the back, and their defense can the defense can win them games. It's just the offense can't score. It's just that Herbert has no time, and it's honestly hard to watch sometimes because Herbert is just getting killed over and over
Hmm.
and over again.
Yeah,
And it looked like
yeah.
the
It's
Patriots were
just
trying to kill him. It did, especially in the fourth
I
quarter.
mean, in the end, they had an open door to. I mean, the
Yeah,
Chargers just is just doing that. You know that video, the guy's doing that little security check, and he's just kind of like waving them down. I mean, that's the Chargers O line. I
yeah,
mean, it's just incredible.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
tough.
nothing game. I think game for me, game of the AFC wild card, best one, Bills Jaguars. I mean,
Yeah,
shout out Liam Cohen. I mean, building something in Duval. I mean this they can and I mean that I didn't think the Jaguars were. I mean, gonna put up a fight. I mean, Josh Allen. My pick is the Bills win the Super Bowl, and Josh Allen's gonna Josh Allen, and
I thought
and
you
I
picked the
think
Rams.
no, I'm sorry. They're like the Bills are my pick, but the Rams after watching the season, I'm riding with my guns, and this has to be Josh Allen's year. But the Rams, I just think they're inevitable. Like that is the best football team, and on paper, defense, offense, Rams are the best football team. But in my heart, I want Josh Allen to win one. I think like I just feel bad that this guy has been smoked by Mahomes
Hmm
3 years in a row that was, and so I think this is his time. Like it's a prophecy. Like he needs to win this year, and if he doesn't, he's never gonna win a Super Bowl in his career. That's how I feel about it, and it just sucks. But I think about that, and I mean, Josh Allen. Story of the game: Josh Allen gonna Josh Allen. The Jaguars are a threat now. They're the kings of the AFC South, in my opinion, for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think Liam Cohen the turnaround's crazy. I hate that they're in our division. That's one of the worst things ever. Is when a team's on the rise and you have to watch them play. And especially without Travis Hunter, I don't know how much he would have added to this team. Obviously, he would have added a little bit just with his explosiveness and everything. But I think the biggest takeaway for me of this game was just Josh Allen. I think he is an absolute monster. And Josh Allen is the only person that I could truly trust. Maybe you can throw Matt Stafford in there, who can just be like, you know what, I'm gonna win this game, and he just wins it. I mean, it's their first road win in the playoffs since I think like 1990 something. And
I mean, Josh Allen, the way he does it too. I mean, he's just to be like Chris Collinsworth here. I mean, the guy is just, he's just Josh Allen.
he
Like
is just Josh Allen, and he has no
he's
weapons.
just. He's got James Cook. I would argue he has a little bit of weapons, but
I
like
mean,
he
yeah,
doesn't
but
have a
James Cook
true. He
doesn't.
doesn't have a
James Cook is
true.
not super involved in the passing game. I mean,
Yeah, he doesn't have a true one guy. Like he doesn't have like when
I
he had
think they
Diggs, he doesn't
thought
have a
Keon
guy like
Coleman would be
that.
that, but Keon Coleman had a bunch of off-field issues earlier in the year.
I gotta be real. I can't call him in college, like, because he doesn't create separation. And this is something I, realized
Listen, I'm a
very.
Keon Coleman guy. Do not hate on Keon Coleman.
No. Earlier this year, because I drafted him in fantasy, I was kind of on the Keon Coleman hype train. I was like, all right, you got a year, and he's gonna come in and gonna do that. And then I watched this guy play a little bit. Like the biggest thing, that separates the NFL receiver and a college receiver is like separation. Like he just does not create separation that well. Like and so like and when I watch him, it's just like he can't get open. Like he's just getting boxed every time.
Yeah,
And when he
yeah,
does get those contested catches that he would make in college, he wasn't making them as much this year. So like I don't know, it was definitely really interesting to watch, and that was my opinion of Keon Coleman. But yeah, so the last one, and this is, and I'll get to the Texans later, but Texans Steelers, Mike Tomlin steps down today. the news of the NFL. Steelers got
I
blown
think we
out.
knew it was coming. I think we knew he was
Yeah,
looking for some
and
type
and
of
I
change.
actually wanna see I'm a Tomlin fan. I think everyone in Pittsburgh hates him because he goes just like 9-8 every year, but I think Tomlin's a great coach. I think he gets a job somewhere else, and I think he does pretty good somewhere
I think
else.
Tomlin ends up in Miami.
Really?
I do. I
Well,
do.
the interesting
I
thing
think
is since he stepped
Miami.
down, you have to trade for him. Trade him Tua. We'll trade Tua for Mike Tomlin. That's a great deal.
We'll have to see. I don't know. I don't know what his plans are. When's his contract up? Do you know?
Not sure, but I do know that they have to trade for him. So that's going to be something very interesting with Tomlin's situation. I mean, honestly, it was just coming. I think it's just one of those things where you need to have change situation to just it was just too long both sides. Not that they're doing anything bad, but I just think change of scenery it's going to suit both teams better in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I think
I
that's what
think
it comes down to.
I'm pretty sure Rodgers is done. I think we all knew it was coming. Texans were
Yeah,
flying around. I thought Rodgers died on the field three or four
yeah.
times, especially towards the end of the game where he got that hit up, towards his face and he lay on the ground for like 5 minutes. I think Rodgers is done. I think the Steelers need to just clean house and just kind of find a quarterback this year to rebuild. It sucks that Tomlin got them to the playoffs, and I don't know who they're going to draft now, like as their quarterback. Maybe Dante
Well, they
Moore.
have Will Howard.
I mean, they have Will Howard, but I think if Will Howard
I
was
don't
the
know how he's
guy,
looking, but
yeah, I think if Will Howard was the guy, then they probably wouldn't have signed Rodgers. Just my
yeah.
thought. Um, it'll be interesting to see what the Steelers do this season with this offseason, especially and who they're going to hire or anything like that. I don't know. The Steelers are so weird. DK
Yeah,
Metcalf looked off all night. They don't really have a huge running back group. I mean, they've got Warren. Um, I don't know. I
Gainwell
don't
as well.
Gainwell, but
Yeah,
the Steelers are just so interesting. Like the Steelers are just the one team who it will just be
the
9-8.
Steelers have the Dolphins problem, except for they're a little better. Like at least the Steelers make the playoffs. The Dolphins are forever mediocre. Where like 9-7, 7-9, 8-8. Like it's just
Yeah,
ridiculous. Like that's the Steelers are in the same ballpark as the Dolphins, where it's just constant mediocrity. Not good enough to win a Super Bowl, not bad enough to tank and get a good pick. Like for example, Dolphins started 0-6. Now and they finished off like it's just like ridiculous. Like it's just like either suck or be good. Like
yeah.
I
If
don't
you're
know.
gonna tank,
Maybe as a
tank.
fan that sounds bad, but if you can't compete in the playoffs, what is the point of making the playoffs? And that already
Yeah,
sounds
if you're gonna
horrible.
tank, tank.
Just like I hate missing the playoffs just by a little bit because it's like man, especially when as a Dolphins fan, Tua Tagovailoa cannot compete in the playoffs. He is not good enough. He's garbage can, and so like I don't know. I hated they even drafted him, but that's a whole nother story that we drafted him over Herbert and other that. But okay, let's move on now to the locks of the week. It's gonna be our weekly, picks every single week. We're gonna come to you guys and give you, our locks, who we think's gonna win, why, give you a little bit analysis there. So starting off, we'll go back to college football really quickly. Miami, Indiana. My lock, I'll start here. I have as Miami. I'm taking Miami. I think they're gonna win. I'm joking about them blowing out Indiana, but I do think Indiana has not seen a team as athletic, as fast. I'm riding with my Canes. You know, I couldn't sit here and make a lock on Indiana against them, especially after I was calling Indiana fraud for a while, and then they decided to rock up and stomp Bama and Oregon, and I was like, oh, maybe they're not so fraud, but screw it, we're still rocking Miami.
I'm gonna go, and I think that you would have thought that I was gonna take Indiana straight up, and I'm not gonna. I don't. I want to respect my co-host. I'm gonna take the over. I think the line is still 48.5. So and I'll have to double check it, but I think I want to take the over at 48.5. I think that's my lock of the game. I think it's gonna be a shootout, or if it's not a shootout, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's gonna be a blowout. I think regardless, over 48.5. Life's too short to bet the under.
Interesting. Yeah. No, fair enough. This is the interesting one. 49ers Seahawks. And as we get into the NFL games now and the next round of NFL, I want to call something out. This slate of games is interesting. I really feel like you look at offense versus defense. This is exactly what this whole slate is. You have 49ers Seahawks. You have the Shanahan offense versus that Seahawks defense. You have Bills Broncos. You got Josh Allen Superman versus that Broncos defense. Pats Texans, you have Drake May, and you have versus that Texans monsters defense. And so I feel like it's really going to be, that age old saying is, offense win you games, defense win you championships. It's going to be interesting. So 49ers Seahawks, My lock, I think the Seahawks are gonna win. I have a feeling. I really do think the defense is gonna prevail. My lock is I think Njigba is gonna get anytime touchdown. Njigba
Ooh,
anytime touchdown. I think
I
that's the
was
lock for me.
I was thinking of taking it. Seriously, I was thinking of taking it. And I thought about it the same way you did with offense and defense. And I thought about Seahawks defense, and I think that the spread of the game is 49ers are plus 7.5. I want to
Which
take
is
that. I'm taking
which is
Niners plus
interesting.
7.5.
I mean, and I think that's a good take because the last two games they've played have been very tight, cagey games. I think, this game, these guys are familiar opponents. They're division rivals. This will be the third time they're playing this year, so they know each other really well. So it's really gonna be an interesting one, and I think, this is gonna be a game where the stars are gonna have to star for both offenses,
Yeah, Purdy's gonna
and
have a
so
big night, but I just think 7.5 is such a large spread. And if you look when we get to other games, I'll tell you the spreads of them each. But this is by far the biggest spread of the weekend or of the next slate. Like by far. So give me 49ers plus 7.5. Taking it. Brock Purdy. I feel it. Christian
all
McCaffrey.
right. And this is gonna be good because we're gonna keep these locks. We're gonna give you guys the results next week, so that way you know to fade which one of us keeps giving you bad locks.
Yeah.
And so, and so, all right. Next game we're gonna move into last game of the NFC will be Bears versus Rams. And now this one has shootout written all over it,
I
which
agree.
also which
I think we might
also
have the
which
same
also
pick.
which also makes me nervous, as well. Because sometimes when I feel like games are shootouts, they end up being like little slugfest, and I'm just like, man.
Oh, I
But
don't
this
like where
game
this
just
is
has
going.
shootouts all over. I'll take the over here. And I don't know. I don't remember exactly what the lock is. And Al, if you have that in there,
48 and a
please.
half. I'm taking the
Yeah,
over for
I'm
Bears
taking the
Rams.
over here.
I agree with this statement. I think this screams shootout. I think this is going to be an offensive battle. It's going to be cold. It's going to be bare weather. I think this screams the over.
Yeah, and so I think there's just two offenses versus the Rams have a solid defense. Bears don't have that great of a defense. They're going to need to score to stay in it, and I think it's over 100%. And so next one, Bills Broncos. I'm taking Josh Allen rushing touchdown. I think that's a lock against this Broncos defense. I think they're gonna have to work to get this in. So I think you could see a Josh Allen touch push or Josh Allen having to work on his legs. So I feel like that's it. And like I said, I feel like this is Josh Allen's year to win it if he's gonna win it. You know, Bills have to win. That's not my lock, but I feel like the Bills got to win. If they don't win, Josh Allen, I don't know. I don't know what to say. At least he's good at golf, so he can
Yeah.
go golf early.
I was looking at this. The spread's just Bills plus 1.5 and Broncos minus 1.5. I didn't like it. I don't know how each defense is going to play either. So I went Cortland Sutton anytime touchdown. I think
Yeah.
I think it's Bo Nix's favorite target. I think it's, Broncos it's their first game in the playoffs. I think they're going to be juiced up. I think Sutton, I think he's finally going to be healthy again. I know he's been banged up the past couple of weeks before they got into the playoffs and obviously with the bye. But I think Sutton touchdown. I think that's my lock for this game. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a great game.
And the defense part, because I really almost thought RJ Harvey anytime as well, because the Bills, I mean, I've seen them get sliced all year on the run. And RJ Harvey's a UCF guy, and that's my guy. He's out of UCF. I've been saying about RJ Harvey since the start of the season. I was like, watch out. He's the one dude coming from UCF that is making an impact in the NFL right now. So I could see RJ Harvey anytime too.
I
just
think this might be
because
game of the week too.
Yeah, it has potential to be a very good game.
Yeah, I think it could be.
And now here comes my hot take. Pats versus Texans.
I know where you're going with this.
I think the Texans defense is going to eat the Patriots alive. I actually think the Texans, if CJ Stroud, I equate him to Carson Beck for Miami. If CJ Stroud can just play at a decent level, I think the Texans have a really good shot of making some noise here. And so I think this game, I'm taking the under in this game. And that might sound insane, but I think the Patriots score like 10 points this game. I watched the Chargers defense and what they did. I think the Patriots are not ready. The Patriots are not very good against teams with winning records this year. The Texans are very hot after a rough start to the year. I just think this Texans defense is going to eat up that Patriots O-line, and they're gonna cause some issues. And I think it's gonna be a great game, but I think it might be low scoring.
So I went a different way than you did. I think that there's definitely a chance that the Texans defense can eat the Patriots alive, but when it comes to CJ Stroud, I don't know if the Texans can win, especially, going up against the Patriots. I think the Patriots played pretty rough against the Chargers. I think Will Campbell had a rough night. I think the offensive line didn't play as good as they wanted to. And my pick for this game is Patriots -3. That's what the line's at, and then the over under is 40.5. I think Drake May. I think that just getting back into it, I think they have a bounce back weekend. I think CJ Stroud just can't put up the points. Even I think it's super low scoring too. I like the under in this. But I think Patriots -3 is my pick. I think that they win it, 17-7 or something right in there. I think it's super low scoring again.
Yeah. It's interesting though. I think the Texans can make some noise, but those are the locks. Bookmark it, save it, hold us accountable. And that's all we have for you today. So if you liked the episode, make sure to subscribe, share it, like it. We'll be on Instagram. You'll be seeing our locks there,
Yup.
breaking down what we got right, what went sideways next week. So, always come back and see y'all next week. Thank you.
See you guys.